What is going on, Future Focus Nation? If this is your first time to the channel, thank you. Welcome. If not, welcome back. My name is George, and we talk about finance and investing here. And today I want to talk to you about what's going on with the whole Wall Street bets and what's going on in the silver market. So today we're going to talk about silver, the positives of having it, and maybe why you should consider having it in your portfolio. I have physical silver in my portfolio. We're going to talk about some of the uses of silver. We're going to talk about the ways you can get into silver. We're going to look at some charts. And finally, I'm going to end it with telling you what I'm doing. Before we go any further, remember, invest in me and press that like button, invest in yourself, and smash that subscribe button. With all that said, let's get into it. Now, after the storm into AMC and GameStop that forced these stocks to skyrocket, along with a bucket of other stocks, these Wall Street bet investors decided to make their way into a bigger territory. Now, what they did was they started purchasing the commodity from places like JD Bullion, SD Bullion, Kitco, to name a few. They also jumped into ETFs, the SLV, and they also jumped into miners. Now, miners are what we call stocks that come from companies that mine silver, mine gold, or mine other commodities. Now, in the past week, you've seen the prices of all of these run to the sky. But one thing as of note is that the average volume last year for GameStop was about 50 million shares transferred back and forth, whereas the volume for silver was over a billion. So it will be harder for these investors to move the price of silver up as fast as they did with GameStop or AMC. The market is just so much bigger. And because silver is such a commodity that can thrive, whether the economy is doing good or bad, there are a lot of investors that go long silver. What I mean by that is that they hold silver and they don't have any intention of selling it anytime soon. The way silver thrives when the economy is doing good is that when the economy is doing good, there's a lot of industry, there's a lot of things being built, such as electric vehicles, such as solar panels, such as satellites, and silver is essential for all of these. Silver also thrives when the economy is doing bad because it can also be seen as a hedge against inflation or a hedge against deflation. As you can see here, your dollars are worth 97% less than they once were. And 10 years, they may not even be worth the paper they are printed on. And this is caused because of inflation. Every year, the value of the dollar decreases. The Federal Reserve has vowed to keep the inflation rate at about 2%, which means your dollar will devalue at 2% every year. Now, this right here is the silver ETF going back all the way to 2006. And you can see the average investments inflows that came in. You saw some highs back in 2013. But now this is the highest it's ever been. There was about $1 billion that went into these ETFs, which is a record. Now these are the uses for silver. So we have industrial, electrical, and electronics, like we talked about, making the bulk of this, but jewelry, coins and bars, silverware, photography, and a bunch of other industries use silver. Here is something we call the gold-silver ratio. Simply, the gold-silver ratio is just the amount of silver there is for the amount of gold. This is valued in troy ounces. So for every troy ounce of gold, there is supposed to be 85 ounces of silver. That's been around the norm. Currently on Earth, there's only 15 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. And this is what we call the gold-silver ratio. So as you can see here, the gold-silver ratio has fluctuated up and down. And currently, the gold-silver ratio is currently sitting at 80. And this is based on the price of it, not how much is actually in existence. And this is just the same thing, but another way to look at it with both of them separated. And you can see how the price of both of them have fluctuated. And starting in 2019, you can see the big disparity between how much people flew into gold and how silver kind of stayed stagnant. And you can look at this and say that silver is currently very undervalued because of the disparity between the price of gold and the price of silver, coupled with the amount of gold and silver that we currently have on Earth. These are some ways you could invest in silver. Like I said, you could have physical ownership of it, which is you actually holding the metal, and it directly tracks spot prices in silver. Collectibles tax rate of 28%. So that's how much you would be taxed if you were to sell it. Unique features often require storage costs such as states or insurance. So what they're talking about here is when you have this in bulk, People don't really want to have this in their house or in a safe. So they usually pay some sort of storage facility, whether it be a bank or some specific place that stores silver, and they pay for this to be stored for them. And then you have the futures market. It closely tracks spot prices in silver, but can be susceptible to contango. Now, contango and backwardation are just the way that the price of the current silver spot price versus the future price of silver, the way they converge. So whenever the price of silver is higher than the current spot price in the futures market, that is called contango. But whenever the price is lower, it's called backwardation. And the unique features is that it may lose value even if spot silver prices rise given contango. And then you have the silver miners like we talked about. Trends tend to be leverage play on silver prices given high fixed cost of mining. Long term, your taxation is a 23.8 max if you hold them long term, and a short term investment is about 37%. Capital gains depending on your holding period. And then you have the indirect exposure to silver, given that miners can have revenues from other metals. Now, when you have gold miners, copper miners, nickel miners, they end up finding silver in their mines as well. So some of those miners make money off of silver. A lot of these silver specific miners, their prices usually correlates with the price of silver. So when the price of silver is rising, a lot of people flood to the equity. That forces the price of the equity to escalate as well. What are some ways we can buy silver? So there's coin shops. You could go to local coin shops, whether it be in your state, in your city. You have local silver coin dealers and coin brokers. You have silver coin auctions. You have mail order that you can order it online or order it straight from a company that is minted and they will send it to you to your house. You have online coin stores and online coin auctions. These are usually for the numismatic coins. You have coin mints who are trusted entities throughout the world. You have the Perth Mint in Australia. You have mint in America. You have these mints that they verify and are trusted. So when it comes time to sell your silver, if you have a stamp from these mints, it'll be most likely accepted wherever you're trying to sell it to. Then you have coin shows as well. Wherever you choose to buy your silver from, just understand that when you're dealing with people that are not mints, or dealing with well-known establishments, you may be buying silver that is not real, that is counterfeit, that looks very real, but at the end of the day, it's not. So when you're buying the actual physical precious metal, ensure that you are purchasing something that's authentic. I didn't include things in here like Facebook Marketplace or yard sale pages, because when you're dealing with consumer to consumer, chances are that they may think it's real and they may have purchased it and they may be unknowingly selling it to you at a real price when it may be something like sterling silver, which is not like 99% silver. Now, there are different ways you can buy physical silver. You can buy actual bricks that are called bullion, which means that they haven't been coined yet or made it to something else. You can buy these in bulk, or you can actually buy coins from the National Federal Reserve. Here I have an American eagle from the United States, and I also have a silver kangaroo from Australia. When you purchase them in coins, they usually come in stacks like these of 25. And when you have a bunch, it's called stacking them. There are also different types of coins that are called numismatic. You have coins or bars that have significant value because maybe they have a picture of Mickey Mouse on them, or Back to the Future, or Pikachu. What separates the numismatics is that it could be the same exact weight in ounces. However, the numismatic has something that sets it apart, which is going to increase the value of it. Now, I'll leave you with some final thoughts. This silver rush happened a long time ago. In 1979, two gentlemen known as the Hunt brothers made it their mission to corner the silver market. How they were able to do it is the same way that the investors are doing it today: supply and demand. Now there's not currently enough to supply to feed all of the demand, and then what ends up happening is that the price makers can increase the price as much as they want because people are willing to pay those prices. But in 1979 and 1980, what ended up happening was that the price crashed. And until now, a lot of people that paid $50 for all of those ounces have not recouped their money. Because of this, you can expect resistance levels for silver to be at $30, $40, and $50. 30, 40, and 50 are going to serve as mental blocks for all of those people who have had silver for this length of time and still have not been able to recoup their investments. Again, silver is a great investment because it can thrive when the economy is doing great, or it can thrive when the economy is doing bad. As you saw, silver can be utilized in a lot of different ways. So what am I doing? I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing this entire time. In my portfolio, I hold real estate, I hold stocks, I hold precious metals, and I hold cryptocurrency. And I always maintain 5% of my entire portfolio in precious metals, whether it be gold or silver. Those are my go-to. As you saw, I like to maintain the actual physical because I can hold it. It's real. If the price of silver continues to increase and then I see a decrease in other parts of my portfolio, then I'll sell some silver. Anytime silver falls below the threshold, I buy more. I am a firm believer in diversifying your portfolio. I have other investments as well, but those are my main four. But what about you? What are you doing? Is silver something you already own, or is something you are thinking about buying? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know how you're investing in it. Are you going to buy the physical? Are you going to do futures trading? Or are you actually going to invest in the miners? As always, invest in me and press that like button, invest in yourself, and smash that subscribe button. Until next time.